Thank you, Julius. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been living in your unit for over 10 years, right?
Correct.
And we're not the only family in the building. Julius and his family moved into the building. They raised their youngest 7-year-old son in the building. He goes to elementary school just a couple blocks away, and he's my daughter's best friend. They play together almost every day, and saying his name was one of her first words. These are the little stories that, you know, these guys, that the Monsignor doesn't know about why we shouldn't have to break up our community. My neighbor, Karen, who's here with us today, even though, you know, it's not the easiest for her or actually any of us to get up early on a Sunday morning. Some of us have medical problems. To stand out here on the street corner when it's humid and muggy, to risk being out here in the middle of a rainstorm or whatever what they were calling for. But we needed to be out here, and we are so heartened by the support of the community, because without the community support, there would be no chance that this Basilica would listen to us. They don't care about the fact that my neighbors had surgeries at Providence Hospital to try to fix their back. You know, this is not just something, you know, we don't just live here. We get medical services in this area. We get, you know, our social services in this area. We use the transportation in this area, and many of us even pray in this area. One of my neighbors, before this whole thing even started, was going to the Basilica as a parishioner herself. And so the point is that we deserve to be here, you know, not just as much as the Basilica, but even more than the Basilica, to tell you the truth. Thank you. My neighbors are the workers here of Washington, D.C. One of the families in my building has, you know, one of the tenants works at a hotel downtown, right across the street or very close to the White House. You know, we are the ones that make this city run. I work for Catholic Charities. I work for another part of the church. They own my home. They own my wage. They own my health insurance. They own a lot of parts of my life. I work overtime. I work very hard to make sure that Catholic Charities clients are taken care of. And to me, this is spitting in the face of Catholic Charities clients. How am I supposed to be able to provide good services if I am homeless? Tell me that. Am I supposed to be showing up at the door to St. Vincent's Villa or Our Daily Bread in Baltimore, parts of Catholic Charities, because now I cannot afford my own home with the wage that Catholic Charities is paying and the fact that the Basilica has kicked me out? And then I have another neighbor who worked at the commissary on a military base for many years until they were laid off. You know, so the point is that we're not just here, you know, kind of absorbing things from DC. We're producing for DC. We are making DC run. And what does the Monsignor do? I mean, I'd like to ask, actually. I'd really love to ask. I was looking in preparation for today at how the church responded to the visit of Pope Francis in 2015. And what did they do? They took the Pope to Catholic Charities in St. Patrick's. They actually mobilized a bunch of people who receive food regularly from Catholic Charities and other services to try to talk to the Pope. And the Pope made a presentation at St. Patrick's during this visit, and because he was talking to the clients of Catholic Charities, because he knew that the people he was talking to were actually homeless and were being housed by Catholic Charities, the Pope said, there is no justification whatsoever for lack of housing. That was 2 Catholic Charities clients here in Washington, D.C. And so what we're trying to do as a community is reach out to those same neighbors and say, you know what? It shouldn't just be one day in 2015 that the church believes this. You're relying on the services of this organization. Know that they're not committed to these services. Know that you have to protect yourself and plan for the future, because this very Basilica is kicking the tenants out. So we want to recruit those people. We want to recruit our neighbors to join in with us and say that we are not going to stand for this.